Hello again, guys. It's Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair, and the subject of today's video is going to be these little bitty speed control boards that I build for units that are getting a new motor. And we're going to go ahead and do a little close up here so you can see what I'm talking about here. Just got to find my cameras. This video is going to require different cameras than the ones I've been using, so you may have to bear with me while I find certain cameras. I think my overhead cam's right here. Alrighty, and here is the speed control board. Now this is the version, this is basically a 1-inch square piece of perf board. There's about 16 parts on here, and every unit that gets a new motor usually gets a new speed control board also, because my speed control board uh, the different motors are being used today than were being used back when this stuff was being made. So different stuff is required. So this is the version that I use. This does not have wires attached. The version that I sell to other shops and individuals already has wires attached, so it's much easier to install for the hobbyist or the guy who doesn't have a whole lot of soldering skill, because there's a little bit of fine soldering work. Anyway, the main subject that I'm working on here is that almost every job I do gets a new motor. That is for car units anyway. Most of them get a new motor, which means that most of them also get a new speed control board. Now, as I mentioned before, there's about 16 parts in this board, and for the longest time, I was stopping in the middle of every job to build this little board. Well, okay, the first time I built one of these took me about an hour. With a lot of practice, I got it down to about 20 minutes, but that's working at a frantic pace. So as my popularity increases as a service, naturally more demand gets placed on me, and I've had to think of faster ways to build things. So what I'm doing now is I'm building uh, 30 boards, 30 speed control boards onto a single piece of perf board. So we'll go ahead and go back to let's look at the extreme right angle view, see if we can make some sense out of this thing. Okay, this is basically a set of 30 boards. Now I could build, 5 more down this row, but these boards ended up being the right size for my preamps, so I break this piece off and build preamps out of that. So anyway, this is a group of 30 speed control boards. They're almost complete. They're just missing the little resistor on back. Here is, let's go ahead and go to the overhead cam, a little closer view of this stuff here. Okay, now this is my little slab of 30 speed control boards. Now, why do I build all these on a little slab? Well, because every time, let's say for instance we're building this board just individually, okay, so naturally we have to insert wires, solder them, clip them off. Now every time you change direction with your tool, or every time you have to reach for your tool, every time you have to change direction, cutting direction, you're wasting time. Precious fractions of a second can add up. Over the course of 30 or 40 boards, it can turn into, like, several minutes, even an extra hour. As it turns out, I can build these boards this way about twice as fast as I can build them individually. So from now on, I've got about, let's go to another camera view here. Okay, what I've got here is I've got 60 boards pre-built. This is one that's about halfway done, just to kind of show you the progress. When you do mass production, you do the same operation on each item rather than assemble the whole thing at your station. You do one thing, you pass it on, next guy does another thing, he passes it on. Of course, now I'm all the guys on the production line, so I'm referring to me when I'm saying this guy and that guy. So anyway, here's a little jar of boards that I've already had cut and prepared. Those are ready for use. And now I'm going to share with you guys my little experience on cutting these boards up. Now this board is completely finished. This set of 30 boards is completely finished. It has that little resistor added on the back. So now, how do we separate these things? Well, it's going to be a pretty simple procedure. I'm going to grab my little Dremel tool with the cutoff wheel. I'm going to go like this, and I'm just going to strip off about 5 of these boards so you can see how I'm doing it. I'm just going to take our cutoff wheel, and we're just going to run it. See if I can do this where you can see it, and we'll just run it. Just going to score it lightly down the line. Okay, and then now we just break off a little chunk of 5 boards there. And there's the rest of them. So now we take a little chunk of 5 boards and we score between all those. Okay. Okay. And now we have 5 individual boards. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that speed control circuitry. And there we go. Just like that, we've got 5 boards. That one didn't score too well, but I was able to separate. So, okay, now you've seen it firsthand how Barry makes his speed control boards and how efficient he is and all that groovy stuff. Now let's just see if I can find my camera again so I could say goodbye. This is Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair, and now you know some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on in my shop. We do mass production here, even in the home environment. There's still a way to do mass production techniques. So, on that happy note, just kind of wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that goes on here. I'm going to get out of here and get back to work. This is Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. If you have an 8-track player either for home or for car use in need of service, you can reach me directly at 928-533-9666. If your 8-track is a car unit, it'll probably get a new motor and a new speed control board. My website is in the description below. I also do AM or FM conversions on classic car AM radios. We can add Bluetooth, USB reader, more station presets, auxiliary input, all kinds of cool stuff. Thank you very much for watching and listening. My website is in the description below. We'll see you next time.